So you are still listening to the We Are West Ham podcast with me, Will Pugh, Tom Edwards and James Jones. And just a reminder, in case you'd forgotten, West Ham United are going on a European tour, having come sixth under Sir David Moyes and qualified for the Europa League. Tom, I'm going to throw to you first. We've got loads coming up on the show tonight, loads to cover, or this morning even. Blimey, I'm so used to saying that. I'm just going to get it out of the way, really, because there are some, and it's a very small minority, who are saying, if we'd only just beaten Brighton and Newcastle, we'd have got in the Champions League. And I know, Tom particularly, you're looking at me going, yeah, that's normally you, mate, you miserable sod. But no, I'm very much of the opinion that the games we've had against Aston Villa and Fulham, they're just the two that I think of straight away. We didn't deserve to get any sort of points out of those games, or we didn't deserve to get what we did. But there's people going, if we'd only done that, we'd have been in the Champions League. Are you of that school of thought at all? I mean, judging by your Twitter since Sunday, you're not. But let's just
Which is gold, by the way.
Yeah, love that.
Absolute gold.
Yeah, at Tom_Edwards, the zeros, or the O on the Tom's a zero in it, so hit him up on Twitter. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
I think the results on the weekend sort of made it look closer than it was. We'd probably lost that a few games ago, Champions League, and now what is it, 2 points because other sides lost. Leicester lost a few on a spin, so did Chelsea. I think if we were right there and in amongst it, whether or not results might have been a bit different, who knows? And like you say, there's been times this season when we have had luck that we haven't usually had. Things have gone our way. Even when we played Tottenham at home, they had those chances at the end. They could have net one of them. So there's things along the way that I'm not going to look back at. When you get top six and we've infiltrated the elite, Champions League was a big stretch for anyone. When you look who's up there, look how long we were up there. The fact that Declan Rice had just had that injury at a key time. I don't think you can have anything but just pride at what we have achieved and not try and bite off more than we can chew. And to get in the top six is an unbelievable achievement as it is. And I'm only looking at the positives of that as opposed to what could have been, because you can always do that. So taking top six, and I'm laughing, mate.
I'm pleased to hear it. Go on, Joe.
It's the equivalent of Man United fans going, if we hadn't lost 8 games this season, we would have won the league. It's like,
well, you did.
You lost those games. I mean, yeah, there were some games that we blew it in. The Arsenal game, Newcastle away, you would argue, probably should have beaten Fulham away, didn't, 0-0 draw. So those games you look back and go, well, we probably should have done better. But over the course of a season, Tom's right. We achieved something that absolutely after the first 2 games of the season we had no expectation of finishing anywhere near the top 6, even the top half of the table, let alone the top 6. So you got to take it as a huge achievement for the club, and I think top 6 is fully deserved. Didn't even scrape it. I think we fully deserved it.
Yeah, and it's the first season for a while where I find that I'm not looking back and going, what if? And perhaps that's because we've done well. I'll be honest, it hasn't felt like this for such a long time. And that perhaps when you do well, you don't look back as much and go, if this had happened, because you're not so full of anger and misery as we were this time last year after we'd come 16th.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Just because it's levelled itself out. I know people hate VAR, and VAR's made football awful to watch this season. But maybe it's just doing well. You think, I'm not too worried about that. But I don't think it is. It feels to me like when you go back, I feel like we've come where we deserve to come.
Yeah.
I feel like if we'd have got Champions League, people, it would have been strange, because I think there would have been a lot of flukes or fortune in there. I think those recent games, I know what you were saying, Tom, weren't you, about, we're in this position, we're bottle jobs. But, I think with that, I look back and then go, well, we got points before. We rode our luck big time in those 2 games specifically. But there were others we didn't play particularly well, but ground the results out. So I just think, I think we've come 6th and we've deserved to come there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you look at it as a 38-game season and we've been right up there. We have deserved it. Leicester as well. Both of us, you could make a case for deserve to be in the top 4, and Liverpool might have snuck it. But it doesn't lie after 38 games. And there's definitely times, particularly what Jonesy said brought out there, the Newcastle one was when it probably changed, and it probably looked unlikely because that was such a big opportunity to throw that away. And my bottle chat was because I honestly didn't think we'd come top 6. I thought we'd come 7th, and if this was on the other foot and we came 7th, I would be saying what if and how many what ifs. But for some reason, the top 6 just makes that difference because it's infiltrating the big boys and making a bit of a difference. So it's nice to eventually do that. So I can't be gutted at anything.
Nah, and you're right, mate, because we've had 2 huge games. You know, that was a week ago, which seems like a lifetime ago, where we were having that chat a week ago, wasn't it? We've got 6 points since then, 3 points away from home, and I feel like that West Brom game was the biggest win.
Yeah.
You know, we made it look fairly easy on Sunday. Southampton, I know they could have scored through Minamino before, but they looked very much on the beach, didn't they?
Oh, definitely.
But West Brom, you could tell Allardyce had got into him saying there's no way that I want to roll over for this lot. And to be fair to them, yeah, exactly. But they didn't against Liverpool either, did they? But so James, what did you? We'll do those 2 games quickly now before we go on to the bigger stuff. Like I said, then the West Brom game, it wasn't pretty, was it? But I just, once we won that, that was when I was like, this is it, we've done it. We've got that was the massive hurdle for me beforehand.
It had all the potential of being the game that completely ruined our chances. You know, Fabianski pulling up in the warm-up, missing a penalty in the 3rd minute, which is the earliest ever penalty miss in Premier League history. Then going 1-0 down straight from a corner, and it was like, this isn't meant to be. It's not going to happen for us. But as has been the case all season, I know I keep saying it every week, but we just react really well to going 1-0 down.
We were going to have our first cliche at the end of season pod.
I said on my way up here, no cliches this.
You got to end the season with a bang,
but,
yeah. Give people what they want.
I might sneak a few in later. We'll see how they feel. But yeah, we've reacted so well to all season to going 1-0 down, or to bad moments in games, and they did it. Getting that goal at the end of the first half was massive. Cliche there, perfect time to score.
There we go. Yeah, nice.
Thank God.
That lasted long, didn't it, Jay? But yeah, and then the second half they were pretty good. I mean, they've got 2 very, very good players in Pereira and Gallagher who's their Chelsea lad on loan.
Conor Gallagher.
He's good.
I mean, Pereira's he was probably the best player on the pitch that day. But yeah, I think, you know, our quality showed through in the end, and it was good to see us actually finishing off some big chances, because we'd struggled up to that point, up to that game, to do that. So yeah, it was a big win, and it set the tone going into Southampton.
Yeah, no, for sure, mate. I mean, Tom, I don't know about you, it did look like we weren't going to do it as well, didn't it? It had all the hallmarks of, oh Jesus, here we go. We're going to stutter against West Brom, and like you say, and I do sort of agree, really. If we'd have ended up coming 7th or even, I mean, we wouldn't. Well, we would have still. Obviously, we could technically have come below Everton, couldn't we?
Yeah.
I know we'd made it difficult, and they got absolutely slapped on the last day of the season. That's, you know what? This is bad. I've got some low key satisfaction about that, because everyone's
finishing above Everton,
or just them not getting anything at all. Everyone's been waxing lyrical, haven't they? Spent all this money. Carlo Ancelotti's some sort of genius, and it's like, oh, he's managed some big clubs, yes. When we played them, it was grim attritional stuff. That, I think, made it a little bit more pleasing that they haven't, not just that we finished above them, that they haven't got Europe.
And then they got slapped on the last day by City.
It's a proper put back in their box, wasn't it? And there is a little bit of me that's going, no, fair play. And Moyes more so. I'm just really proud of him. I feel like, and because I was one of the ones, just like we all were, it was sort of, what the hell were they brought him back for? And I've said it time and time again, no football fan, West Ham or otherwise, can be criticised for having a lowly opinion of David Moyes before he came to West Ham, because after what he'd done at Old Trafford, he hadn't done anything, had he? Real Sociedad, Sunderland, and he just struggled. So, but now I'm so proud of him. Like, listening to him on the pitch, I don't think they showed it on the telly.
No,
I don't know if
I
you've
still
seen it.
I haven't seen it.
It was brilliant. There was only, to be fair, obviously there was only 10,000 in there anyway. A few went home. Then they did the lap of honour. Then Noble spoke, and Noble got interviewed by Chris Skull, I think it was, the guy who does the over the speaker stuff. And then Moyes came out afterwards, but he just took the mic off him, walked in the middle of the pitch, and was just chatting. And it wasn't scripted or anything like that. And I just thought, blimey, you know, what a connection to this man that he's developed. And I'm so happy to eat the humble pie that we've all had to, aren't you?
Do you know? Yeah, and I was watching they showed the lap of honour on Sky. And just watching Moyes do the pit, and he was, punching his fists in the air and, waving at the fans. And it was like watching the love of your life do really well at something. I've got that job, babe. Oh, I'm so proud of you. And they're celebrating. You want to pop the champagne open. Just watching him with just a massive grin on my face, tears rolling down my cheeks, just going, oh, I just love that man. I just love him. He's given us so much joy.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly. Tom, have you, with the West Brom game, before we do the Southampton one in a bit more detail, was there? Well, I assume, like the rest of us, you probably had head in hands for quite a long time, didn't you? Thinking, we're going to bottle this.
Mate, typically me, I was losing the plot. I was a very tough watch to watch that with. I'll tell that. My missus rode it with me, but when that corner went in and the penalties missed, you're sat there, you're thinking, how? Just as typical Villa beat Spurs, and you're thinking, just as we get let back in the side door at the very last hurdle, we're going to West Ham it, aren't we? But it's not even to create one of my agendas, but a bit of quality from Ben Rama just before half time probably changed the game. Not just him, 4 hours, all of them, but it was a bit of class from him. Good run from Souček, bit of luck with the offside, and we're back in it. And after that, second half wasn't an easy watch either. I was about to say it was, but that wasn't. Just thank God we've got Ogbonna. Set pieces have been massive for us this season. I think that can't be overlooked. Cresswell's left foot got some big goals and big moments, and that was another case of it. And as soon as we won that, there's no throwing it away from us. I couldn't see us not getting anything on Sunday.
No, it was a brilliant. Obviously, seeing Big Ange again. He absolutely loves a goal this season, didn't he? You know what? It was thrilling. It just summed up the season for me, I think, because especially when the Pereira's corner comes in, you think, what the hell's happened there? And it wasn't really too hard on Randolph, but when that goes straight in, you think
you want to blame him.
Randolph's missed it because Souček's got like 4 of his hairs on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Deflected away. I'm glad they didn't give it as a Souček own goal as well in the end, because that'd have been harsh.
Yeah, but it was one of them unfortunate ones, wasn't it? But no, I think, I don't know, the whole thing, and when Antonio puts it in at the end, that was just like
relief, wasn't it?
Here it is. Yeah, here it is, and it just felt different, didn't it? Because we haven't done that for such a long time. But nice to not put one over on Big Sam as well, especially he's kicking off all the time, isn't he? I'm a short-term manager, that's all I am.
He was angry after the game as well.
Yeah.
He was not
he
happy
did not
with
like
Antonio.
Mikel Antonio.
He fuming with him.
And I loved every minute of that, because I was like,
disgusting what he said.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, good luck, mate.
Wind him up.
Enjoy.
Yeah, that was brilliant. It is quite nice actually see him losing the prize.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing is with him, he's given it large all of his career, isn't he? It's not like he's been this humble bloke and then it's, I don't know why people have a go at me. It's like, no, because you continue to put your head above the parapet, given I should be managing Real Madrid or Barcelona.
What Antonio said, everyone agrees with him and goes, yeah, he's bang on. He's a long ball manager. Like he didn't play long ball against us for the first time in his entire career, probably 90 minutes of his entire career. He didn't play long ball, and someone calls him a long ball manager and he kicks off. And it's like, mate, what are you talking about?
I didn't even care for him. He just played a game. He's like, just asked me about myself. Do you know what I mean? He's just a throwaway comment. He doesn't care.
Yeah. Antonio's just like, obviously didn't want to be in the interview. Yeah. He's like, yeah, you're not Big Sam. It's proper just cliche.
Yeah, it
stuff,
was.
Isn't it?
Media trained stuff. He's just reeled off and just got on with it.
To be fair to him, I think that might have been what made it a little bit funny. I thought West Brom played really well.
Yes.
I thought they were actually quite
decent.
Quite good, I didn't think they were particularly long ball matches.
Pereira's class. He is class. Yeah, he was good to watch.
Yeah, you think he'll go at the end of the season, wouldn't you? But look, that's nothing else to add, lads, on the West Ham game. I don't have to wait for either of you on Zoom. This is so nice. You can just interrupt.
Yeah, it's good to be able to hear Tom as well without it all going a little bit crackly.
It's also see me without my face.
I'm just waiting for him to go.
Yeah.
Try my best.
Oh, sorry, boys. Don't know what happened there. Hang on, let me go and reboot the router again.
4 hour Zooms later.
Yeah. So nothing else for West Brom, boys, before we move on? No. Southampton, of course, then. I'm going to start with I only wrote one note about it. I don't know, I assume, and I hope you can hear it on the TV, but the most enjoyable part of the whole game was listening to the 10,000 that were in there singing not just We Are West Ham's Claret Blarney, but David Moyes' Claret Blarney. We haven't. No West Ham fans haven't sung about the manager's name since Slaven Bilic. It was Slaven Bilic who's Claret Blarney the last time, and hearing it was brilliant. I thought it was great. You know, there's been times, isn't there, when groups of fans, Tom, you'll know, going to a lot of away games as well, where someone tries it and
you want to get behind it.
Ekes out for a game or two, but you can tell half of the crowd are like, oh, I'm not so sure really. I like the sentiment, but it's not for me. But no, 10,000 in full voice, David Moyes, Claret Blarney for ages and ages. And I don't know what you boys feel on that, but it was really nice. Just made me feel connected to the manager, which I haven't since Bilic.
Well, that's one of the key things that David Moyes has done since he came back to the club is connected the fans back with the club. We feel connected with. We haven't felt like that for years, not since final season at Upton Park. And even that was just a one-off season, and then it kind of all went back to normal, didn't it? Really. So he's given us, our club back is the way. I mean, without being another cliche almost, but he has given us hope. He's given us our dreams back of actually seeing West Ham do well, or at least try every week, which is what we've seen. And and he's achieved something that no one's achieved at West Ham since Harry Redknapp in '99. In finishing the top 6, so he deserves all those songs. Deserves all the credit he gets. He's just been superb. He deserves it.
Yeah, no, I'm just really. It just makes me happy. I just think that must have been such a lonely place for the bloke. He must have had, especially he was excellent at Everton, and I thought when he took the Man United job, I thought what an appointment. That's what I'd have done. Ferguson obviously saw it as well. And it just turned out that I think Fergie knew that was he'd got out at just the right time anyway, didn't he?
Yeah, the squad he left behind wasn't exactly stellar, was it?
No, it was a bit of a surprise they won that last league title, wasn't it? And then all of a sudden, Moyes goes in there, he'd done what he does, and that's such an enormous change, isn't it, following Ferguson in? And it's told since, isn't it? Solskjaer's probably been their best manager since, and they've had some elite names.
And even then he struggled.
Yeah. He's only now he's sort of getting that this like new identity of Man United. These things take time, don't they? And I think the other two jobs the Real Sociedad and Sunderland, they were challenging gigs as well, weren't they? And that's obviously a man who backs himself, but there's no doubt that would have had an effect on his general well-being. What a lonely place that must have been, from being like, the highest of highs after Everton, going to Man United and being backed as the man to replace Sir Alex Ferguson. That's got to be a huge feeling. Go on, Tom.
Yeah, and also for us, the fact that the owners said, and the language they used when they got rid of him at West Ham was, we're taking a next level manager, was it? Say that's what David Moyes has achieved, one of the most successful and experienced coach in Premier League. That probably hit his confidence as well after first good job he'd done since Everton was at us to keep us up that season. And to come back and just see how happy he is and talk about him in the press. There's a thing this morning saying he must be one of the only West Ham managers of all time to be liked. And to see stuff like that and for him to come out and accept that and now feel that, it's special because he really does deserve it. He has gone through everything. For 10 years being told how much of a failure you are, seeing yourself as a meme, saying you're done, to come back here and do it with a team like West Ham. I don't think wider media realise how tough a job the West Ham job actually is. Look at the names he failed, how much money certain managers have had in it, and it's just not worked. But he's got back to the ethos, young players with something to prove, no superstars, no one trying to take money like a Felipe Anderson or someone like that.
Hernandez.
Yeah, exactly. These ilk players, and he's turned it all around, like Jones said, and got some sort of structure back. And like walking in the middle of that huddle, speaking of West Ham, he owns it. He feels like it's his club now, and it's probably the first time he's felt that since Everton. So delighted for him.
Mate, I just feel, Jonesy, you're probably the same. My dad said this to me. I honestly feel like that, and it's not just because of the success. And I know it's easy to say because we've got 6th. And I honestly reckon if we'd got 7th, it would have been annoying, but I'd have still been a bit excited because we'd have all probably booked up to go to one of them rusty Eastern European countries for a weekend, wouldn't we?
Save me a score.
We'll make a bit of a laugh of it, all 3 of us, whatever, and it would be West Ham in Europe. I know it would have been tinged with, this is a bit annoying because this stadium actually has got a train going through it. But I just think, my dad said to me, he just said, I feel connected again. And I'll be honest, I haven't had the feeling since we've been at the London Stadium, and I think it's because you've got someone, I've said it before in these exact words, who cares as much as we do. It feels. I do think, and I will just caveat what Tom said, that I do think David Moyes got given his job back because he was one of the cheaper options. That is one of the reasons. There is no way anyone can convince me that the fact that he cost about a third of what Pellegrini was getting didn't play a part in that decision to bring him back. Anyone who says that to me, well, I'll argue until I'm blue in the face. That's not true. However, he's made it work, hasn't he? He feels like he's working hard. Every time he comes out in the interviews, you don't feel like he's playing up to us, the fans, or the board, or the players. He says it how it is, backs himself, and all the stuff about managing expectations around Champions League. You know what I mean? You will get managers or even players who come out and go, yeah, I know, we want that. He managed it.
He's got a bit of bravado as well.
I've just got so much respect for him.
He did it right from the off, though, when he came back and said, I'm not going to give the fans any false promises. We're just going to, we're going to have our own targets within the dressing room, and we're just going to go for it. We're not going to, because we've had so many false promises over the years. We could do a whole pod on all the promises we've been given and have never been followed through. And I think that was the right thing for him to do when he arrived. Just went, look, I'm not going to promise anything. This is what we're going to do. This is how I'm going to work. This is who I'm going to look for in the transfer window, and let's see where we end up. And 12 months later, he's ended up in the top 6 because we've all just gone, okay, Dave, crack on and do what you got to do, and we'll see how we get on. And I think that's the best thing he's done is just manage the expectations, probably within the squad as well, and gone, you guys are capable of doing it, but can you do it? And they've proved that they can. And fair play to him as well for actually coming back to the club, because if I was in his position, I would have gone no.
Again,
thanks but no thanks, mate.
Do you think?
They've literally got rid of him after keeping us up and gone, we want a big name manager, and he's gone, oh, well, that was me, by the way. I have been managing the Premier League for 12 years, and but don't worry about it, I'll leave. And then 2 years later has gone, go on, I'll come back and save you again. If that was me or some other managers, they probably have gone, no, Dave.
All right, no, but
seen Sullivan's name pop up in his phone.
Thank you. Yeah,
he needed a job.
Yeah.
He did need a job, but he did enough in that first spell at West Ham to warrant getting another job in the future because he kept us up. Maybe in his head he was like, I don't want to go down the same route as Big Sam and become the manager that saves everyone. So I'm going to have another go at it. Yeah, or not this time. Maybe, but if that was me, I would have gone. If I was just Sullivan's number pop up on my phone, my phone ringing, I would have gone, nah.
Yeah. Right. Well, Tom's basically said it there. There was not people queuing up round the block to give him a job, were there? Let's be honest.
No, but do
you know what I mean?
His one's a weird one. He felt like he had one failure at United, which wasn't like a sustained failure. It was 1 year, wasn't it? It was 1 year at United, then one bad year at Sunderland, and then after that, he was done in everyone's eyes.
Which Sunderland's a poison chalice as well, isn't it?
And Chris Coleman was still loved after his role at Sunderland. It was bizarre, wasn't it? And now you look at it and you think, how stupid is the football world? Because he's done such a mental job with us. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't see anyone doing this in any period of time, and makes you wonder now who else has been let go too early or not trusted enough at points, but not from our point for West Ham managers, but other managers, people in the football world, because with a bit to prove in his teeth, it's probably the best job he's ever done. I think it's a bigger job than getting 4 for Everton.
I
think it is, because they were in the middle of it. They were 5th and 6th for a while. They were bouncing out.
Because of him, though, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying, but from take us immediately to where we've gone in one full season, in his first full season with us, it's probably more work to have been done then than there was to take an already built Everton team from 6th to 4th.
Yeah, but if we come 12th next season, then you've got what he done at Everton was it's
unbelievable.
Still the highlight of his career. It's got to be.
That's the best job, but I'm saying that one season, a biggest surprise. I'm not sure if he would have ever even called top 6.
No, potentially, but I think this is probably a worthwhile time then, Jonesy. I'm sure it was something you were going to say later on in the show anyway, but as you've brought it up, it links nicely. Just to thank Manuel Pellegrini for laying the big team mentality foundations, because without him, obviously, you've heard Tuchel saying it about Lampard at Chelsea, thanks so much to Frank, because if it wasn't for what he's put in before me, we wouldn't be in the Champions League final in the top 4.
Yeah, thanks for competing in most of the Champions League for me. I'll just do the last 2 rounds.
Yeah. Well, that's the same with Manuel, isn't it? It's like, thanks so much. Mark Noble come out on the Peter Crouch podcast the other day saying he had a good relationship with him, thought a lot of him. And, Premier League winner, proven pedigree. He's obviously laid the foundations there. And Moyes has just come in and just reaping the benefits off the top. Surely.
So
there's no rebuttal, is there?
Do you reckon Pep Guardiola's thanking Manuel Pellegrini as well, just going, thanks for laying the foundations at City?
Of course he is.
Before I come in and just win everything. Should we just thank Manuel Pellegrini for everything?
Yeah, well, Manuel Pellegrini's the football version of a ground worker, isn't he?
He's the
game changer.
He's the mastermind of Manchester City's dominance over the last 5 years.
And now ours.
And ours over the last year. Oh, I suppose it does make sense.
Yeah. So, gracias, Manuel, if you're listening.
Of course he is.
Obviously. I say these stupid things, don't I? Lads, anything else about the Southampton game? Obviously, brilliant to hear from my point of view. The fans singing David Moyes' name, David Moyes, Claret Blimey. I'm going to admit it, because none of you were there with me. If I think about probably a minute and a half before Pablo Fornal scored the first of his 2 goals, I turned him to my dad, quite red in the face, going, Is he ever going to learn how to convert in the final third of the pitch? Every single time he gets in the box, he shoots and it scuffs along the floor, or he puts it wide, or he tries to cross it and it goes out.
I said to myself, he's such a poor finisher about 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah, literally.
Such a poor finisher.
Oh, it's a bit tragic, isn't it, thinking of James sitting in his office on his own?
I say it's an office, it's more of a cupboard.
Yeah, no, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
He just wanted his peace and quiet. I respect it.
Tom, Pablo Fornalzen. I mean, again, it's all felt a bit fairy tale this season, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that, he's just, I mean, he's been brilliant, isn't he, to be fair to him? He's the final third, and hopefully over the summer he cuts his pre-season a bit short and takes his shooting boots into Rush Green for a couple of weeks before everyone else gets back and tries to aim for... Well, just stop scuffing them, for Christ's sake. Even the ones he scored.
Splash some new boots or
scuffed,
something.
isn't it? Yeah, I reckon they're too big for him.
Just get a half-inch higher or something.
It was still lovely, Tom, wasn't it? Just seeing Pablo pop up to seal our European fate, basically. Nice and comfortable. 30 and 33 minutes were his 2 goals. Doing his little baby celebration. So felicidades to Pablo for his new baby that's on the way. But it was wonderful, wasn't it? Just to see him stepping up.
It was quality to see him step up, and he has been. He's been brilliant. He's so good for us on both sides, on the ball, off the ball, starting counter-attacks, and to have that last moment in the sun in such a big season, get some goals, because that is the one part of his game. And for someone so technically good, so good on the ball, you wonder where it goes in the final third sometimes. He has time in the box and he makes the wrong decision, but so good to see him do it. When with his misses there, great celebration. Always love that one. He's the most excited man whenever we score. So for him to actually score one in a big game was pretty nice to see. But I love him, and I think he'll only get better. He's just great age. Pellegrini got him to thank for him, so obviously he's going to come good.
Look, if you can, you can't really see James's face on YouTube, but you can just the putrid little red tinges at the end because he does not like us praising Manuel Pellegrini. You know what I'm waiting for though, Tom?
Go on.
With Pablo to do the old, as soon as he has the baby, arm.
Makes sense.
We've already had one of those, haven't we, with Soufal and Everton when Soucek scored.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
They did that for Soufal.
The old rocking the arms under the body. I love that. And that's
a good seller.
Absolute favourite of mine, that one. And then Decker's wrapping it up. If you'd written it, you'd have probably written that, wouldn't you? 2-0 half time, feet up, no dramas at all. Tottenham losing, we're cruising to it. And then just about as Tottenham get back into the game, Declan goes, "Don't worry, everyone. Just calm down. Don't panic. We've got this." Saunters up the left-hand side on his own. Anyone in the box? Nah, don't worry, I'll bosh it in the bottom left.
Good finish.
3-0, 5 minutes to go. He even gets his little ovation.
He's been in that position so many times where he's just ran. And every single time he'll get into the box, he'll have a shot, he'll either go miles over. I think he hit the bar at Leicester after that long run, or the keeper will save it, and he's never finished them off. I mean, he was helped massively by the fact that the defence were almost running away from him.
And
then Alex McCarthy kind of just lay down.
Yeah, he was like, put it in the box, put it down there if you want.
I'll dive the other way, mate. Don't worry about it. But it was great to see him score, especially after he missed the penalty a few days earlier. And the perfect guy to wrap up what's been a fantastic season. It's 3 goals for him this season, 2 goals. So hopefully he can start scoring some more for us as well next season.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And you know what? I don't want to go jump the gun too prematurely on this, but the way he's talking recently, I don't know if I'm being naive. He's staying.
He hinted in his post-match that he was like, "We'll play anyone next year."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was like, "We'll play anyone."
How can you want to leave with Europe?
All the good times are coming. Like really looking forward to playing Europa League next year, sort of
He's
thing.
the captain,
so it was like,
you've got, haven't you?
I mean, had we not qualified for Europe, then it would have been a bit of a worry. But you know, he's got the perfect excuse to hang around for at least one more year.
Yeah, no, he's exactly that. You've summed it up, James. I'm not going to add to it like I normally do for no reason whatsoever. Excellent,
thanks,
wordage, Jonesy. Mark Noble, even he came on at the end just for a little
lovely touch
swan song. Yeah, Declan Rice getting his ovation, but Noble coming on, he did a little speech afterwards. It was, it was pretty. It was one of those. Sometimes I don't know how you two feel, just because I'm a bit of a miserable, cynical old man, even though I'm not even 30 yet. But it was just, Tom, do you ever find it where fans and players, and they like over-thank the fans?
Yeah.
Sorry, not fans don't do it. Players and managers over-thank. And I'm like, all right. And it's like, if it wasn't for the fans, everything for the fans, we do all this for the fans. It's like, all right, well, the 250 grand a week you get, you probably do it a bit for that, Mr. Pogba, or whoever, Mr. Fernandez, or whoever it might be. I find it a little bit like, it's just like, all right, don't say it. Like, just say it once or twice. Just show it, but on the pitch.
The only reason
like
why is
does,
because there was 10,000 fans there, and obviously they haven't played in front of fans for 18 months or whatever it was.
It's just so. Do you know what I mean? It's just like with
I know what you
Moisey,
mean.
it's how it's coming from the heart.
At least he didn't. The last time he addressed the fans, at least he didn't come out with "This club's not run like a circus no more," which I was kind of waiting for. I was going, "Oh, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it."
Yeah, I suppose if it's a choice between thanks so much to the board and thanks so much to the fans,
you'll take that.
Yeah,
maybe. We'll have that conversation later on about Gold, Sullivan and Brady. It's an intriguing one. We've got Chad coming up. We've got the end of season awards. One thing just with that, Tom, with Takumi Minamino when he chips it over Fabianski, were you there going, ooh?
I thought he was in. The whole way I thought he was in. And he's usually quite a decent player technically. I thought he'd just nestle in, and I thought, here we go. But thank God for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen.